Now, the federal government of Nigeria insisting that the threat to break up Nigeria by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, MASSACRE, is not a mere threat. What does that mean? Nigerian government is afraid of the unknown. What they greatly fear has certainly come upon them, telling us that the reason why you continue to incarcerate a man acquitted and discharged under your law, under your constitution, under the legal jurisprudence of Nigerian legal system, that the reason why you should continue his indefinite incarceration because you are afraid, you are threatened by a mere broadcast, by a mere address of the impunity of the dastard acts on the part of the executive, the government. It said that have failed woefully to protect life and property, which is the primary responsibility of any responsible government, is to protect life of her own citizens. It's not life of an alliance. Citizens of Nigeria has lost confidence in the existence of the Nigerian government, because what are you living for? If not to protect life and property, what is the primary essence of government? If the government of the day has failed in this primary responsibility, what then makes them a government? If they have failed to improve on the living standards of the Nigerians are wallowing in abject poverty. Over 150 million Nigerians are in poverty. Sinking abysmally in poverty. They are well settled in poverty, and millions are, of course, joining them. So what are you afraid of? What exactly is the government of Nigeria afraid of about the breakup of Nigeria? What else is left in this country that have not been shattered, battered, and destroyed by the greedy, selfish political elites who have hijacked the common resources of the people, lavishing it in their ostentatious, luxurious, extravagant life without any recourse to the negative impact this is making on the Nigerian people. Many households, millions of Nigerian households today could not boast of a single balanced diet. Millions, several millions. Some even have no source of livelihood. Some have been retrenched. Some, their companies have winded up, has folded up. Even multinationals have left the shores of this country. And you are talking about a country. What a country is this? That you are afraid of breaking up. Already the government, the political elite have succeeded in destroying this country. You are afraid of breaking up. That is not a threat. By MASSACRE is saying the reality on ground. What is playing out is never a threat. Under the watch of the government, both current and past administrations, Nigeria is collapsing. Obasanjo made a very frantic statement that Nigeria is collapsing. There have not been any good government leader Nigeria have ever produced. This is coming from the past head of state and two-term executive president of Nigeria. 2 terms of 8 years. He said that Nigeria is wallowing in deep darkness because of poor leadership. There have not been any leader whose primary intent, purpose is to revamp the economy, including him himself. He is part of the worst government Nigeria have ever produced. So what is that? What exactly is good about Nigeria today? Now, for those who are saying that the federal government insists that the threat to break up Nigeria is not a mere threat, You are the one breaking up Nigeria. You are the one destroying Nigeria. You are the one that have destroyed the destinies of unborn generation of this country. So what else is left for people to be addressed? What hope again do people have? The survival of today is not guaranteed. The future has already been mortgaged. You keep on borrowing upon borrowing, lavishing it, spending it extravagantly on yourselves and your cronies. The senators and the rest of them, judiciary, they are now the monsters facing the Nigerian populace. You can imagine, without having recourse to his statement, the Senate president said that can we allow Nigerians to breathe? You can imagine such level of mockery. You said that MASSACRE is the one posing a threat to the disintegration of Nigeria, while you yourself have destroyed the country, let alone this. What is left to be disintegrated? What is left about Nigeria to be disintegrated? What is left? Already Nigeria has collapsed in terms of economy, in terms of security of life and property. The self-government, under the watch of a government, your own citizens are being killed. You are calling yourself a government, you are calling yourself a government, a country that they kind of want to break up. What is left? You say you have defense headquarters, you have military, you have security, you have air force, while you also admitted that foreign aliens are coming into the country to destroy, to kill your own citizens, and yet under your watch you cannot do anything, and you are telling the world with all brazen impunity, with all this, without lack of conscience, that Nnamdi Kanu want to break Nigeria. In what sense? The same Nigeria you have destroyed, bastardized, an average Nigerian youth today have lost hope, lost confidence, lost everything about Nigeria. They have not been given hope to believe in Nigeria. Reason most of them, of course, are fleeing the shores of this country. Both the aged, the young, everybody is not seeing any future in this country. Look at what the US want to do. They want to embark on now, embarrassing and insulting the medical personnel from Nigeria. If Nigeria is a country or a nation, the people would have cherishes and values human development and potentials. Those people, of course, would have been in Nigeria working and living life, the life they desire. What is the sense of living the source of this country? Because they have lost confidence. Nigeria does not have future for them. The reason why they left. So which Nigeria are you saying that Nnamdi Kanu want to break? It's not a threat, it's a reality. Nigeria is breaking before the eyes of everyone, and nobody can live in that denial, including those who are making this statement. The DSS are afraid Nigeria should break. How many of the DSS personnel have been killed by the insurgents? Or is it a normal experience and nobody could think about that? It's a normal experience. People can die. When you have a government that have not arrested, insecurity have persisted for more than 2 decades, more than 20 years in Nigeria. Getting more stronger, expanding. Most of the territories of Nigeria has already been conquered, taken over by the terrorists. Most of the ungoverned space within the Nigerian government, Nigerian defined territory, is now in the hands of the world-acclaimed terrorists, and you are telling us about the breakup of Nigeria. What else is left to be broken? The insecurity already has been shattered, has broken everything. Nigeria has lost control of her sovereign regions. Most of the territory that falls within the Nigerian sovereign region or territorial region has fallen under the hands of Boko Haram, Islamic State of West African province. agitation for secession, agitation for the restoration of independent state of Biafra is ongoing. Why? Because people have lost confidence, or the one are calling, they want to go. If not that they are not being honest about the cause of their own emancipation, because they believe they are in power, and whatever goes around, they stand to benefit from the center and the rest of them. But even at that, people have rejected the government in this state, even before it was eventually enthroned. So what exactly about this country that has not been destroyed? Is it security-wise? A sitting government will watch her citizens being slaughtered in 200 plus, in thousands. I mean, in the last 2 years, what is the state of death as a result of insecurity? Running into millions, being kidnapped, killed, and the rest of them. So does that tell you that this country is a country where there is lawlessness, where people's lives are no longer prioritized, the safety of human life is no longer prioritized? There is insecurity to life and property. There is insecurity to food, to sustenance, sustainability. That majority of Nigerians risk extinction as a result of hunger, famine, the growing widespread of famine, hunger, leading people into atrocities, leading people into committing heinous crime just as a way of survival. People have no other job left. Not that people don't want to work. We have a vibrant population of unproductive youths, not because they don't want to work. Where will they work? Where are the facilities that could absorb them? The government, in her reckless and insensitive moves, have destroyed what should have created an enabling environment for people to strive. Because small-scale industries, there is no way with the current economic mishaps for them to survive. Everybody's struggling, except for the political class who always go to Abuja and share money on the cycle of 30 days and the rest of them. And yet, you keep on borrowing. What does the future hold? Eating the future, and yet you are talking about a country. Now, what makes you a country? How do you define a country? How do you define a country? Is Nigeria today a country? That brings us back even to those good days when Wallow described Nigeria as a mere geographical expression that is not even tilting towards a nation, a country, let alone a nation. Wallow said Nigeria cannot be described as a country, let alone a nation. It's a far cry to what should be described as a nation. Nigeria has not been on her path to nationhood. Well, among politicians, what they are interested is personal interests, being driven by their selfish personal quest to amass wealth, to grab the power, to snag the power, not because they want to serve the masses. They want to benefit themselves and remain relevant within the corridor of power and continue the oppression and subjugation of the masses. The masses are crying that ever before. So what makes them a country? The essence of government is to better the welfare of citizenry. When the people are crying, you have to review your policies. You have to reconsider your policies and the direct impact, negative or positively, on the people, and have a direct assessment. What is the impact of these policies? What is the impact of this movement? What is the impact of these actions I'm taking? But nobody cares. Everybody to himself. God's for us all. If you're dull, the devil takes you. Nobody cares. Which part of Nigeria has not been broken already? Is it in terms of security, as I've narrated? Is it in the terms of food security? Is it in the terms of economy and employment? Millions of Nigerians are wallowing without good source of livelihood. Not because they don't want to work. Those who are being employed in several establishment facilities, the company winded up and they have to leave because of the hostile environment. That they consider Nigerian environment as hostile to strive in their businesses. Multinational, these are not just newcomers into business and industrialization. These are well-established multi-billion-dollar investment. They are living the source of this country. You don't know what that means. And the government is not fit up. They are not moved. It doesn't touch them. Why? Because they have much money to share, and the next they could do, the best they could do is to begin to think the next place to borrow. It doesn't matter if they have to mortgage the entire destiny of Nigerians, provided they enjoy and flex with the money at this time. Whatever happens in the future, it doesn't bother them because they are not an integral part of the future. So they have their today and they have their God and their kingdom to spend. It doesn't matter to them. And you are telling a man who called the attention of the government, who should be celebrated, who should be commended, that he was calling that the government should be prudent in her spending and ensure the fundamental rights of the people. The right to participation, the right to expression, the right to participate in the process and act of government should be respected and entrenched within the system. There should be openness, transparency, there should be coherence. There must be this sincerity and honesty to build an integral, cohesive system defined in core values, stemming from equity, fairness, justice, and progress for all. He said that the resources, common resources of this country must be equitably distributed. And you consider that as a threat. He said that his own people, the killing of his own people must stop. The subjugation, oppression of the Igbos and their Eastern brothers must end with him. And you consider it a threat. So what you want is that people should continue to kill and ensure the forceful disappearances of the Igbo youths, and with the brazen impunity the Nigerian military security operatives have indicted. You see how houses, shops of defenseless citizens are being bombed down with impunity, and nobody, of course, has to bring them to justice. And the government is supervising this, is monitoring all these happenings, and yet, without being pricked that people are passing through difficult time and you're destroying their property, their house, and their resources, you want to render them useless. You want to make sure that the agenda of exterminating and annihilating his own people is being upheld. And you said he's threatening you by challenging you, calling you to question that you can't continue with this. Exactly what Mazi did Chukwuemeka Ojukwu do it when he saw the continued massacring of the Igbos across the regions of this country, the north, the south, the eastern region, and the western region, and the rest of them. They are being used as sacrificial lambs. Unprovoked killings of the Igbos as a result of envy, hatred, bitterness, resentment built over the years, are still in action today. You want them to remain as an entity where they are being hated, their properties are being seized, confiscated, collapsed, and the rest of them. And you said he is threatening you? How? How is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu threatening you? Is Nigerian government not a signatory to the United Nations Charter on Self-Determination? The right of the people to govern themselves, to choose, to fully choose their own political future and affiliation. Is that not enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution? being a member of the United Nations by ratification. So in what way? I'm trying to understand what they meant that is not a mere threat. But whether they like it or not, Nigeria is already on the path of disintegration. It's just a matter of days. It's not just a matter of years. The ex-Commonwealth Minister, or the ex-Commonwealth Secretary General Emeka Nyoko, Chief Emeka Nyoko said, it's on the newspaper, that as they are opposing the restructuring of Nigeria by those cabals, those past and serving ministry head of states and the rest of them, and the allies, they want to oppose the constitution reform. He said unequivocally that Nigeria is on the path of disintegration, that nothing can stop it. He was referring to future, but that future is here. The future Emeka Nyoko was saying about is here already. So how could you be afraid of the unknown, of the future? How could you be afraid of a time, a season whose time has come? An event whose time has come is what you are seeing because of negligence of the past decades. Failure to address the issues, the nagging issues, begging for answers, is now starting at us, and you are trying to blame Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that his threat is not a mere threat. That statement to break up, Nigeria is already on the path of breaking up. In fact, it's being facilitated by the activities and subjugations, marginalizations, and injustice meted against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Today, which justifies his position that Nigeria is an entity that is defined in oppression, suppression, and injustice. That is quite nothing but the truth. Who else believes in Nigeria? It's not about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. An average Northerner does not believe in one Nigeria. Go and find out. Dated back in the days of Ahmadu Bello's, Tafawa Balewa's, and the rest of them, Sardauna, Sokoto, they never believed in one Nigeria. These could be described as those good days. So what is happening today? Wallow never believed in one Nigeria. The current serving president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, 30 years or 33 years ago, said he never believed in one Nigeria. I think he has changed his mind concerning that. It's just that he has found his way, he has paved his way through, of course, to cut his own national cake as others are doing, and there is nothing. He has no solutions to the problem of Nigeria. So how could they be afraid of the breakup of Nigeria? I think the breakup could be hampered by intimidation, suppression, forced disappearances, and the rest of them. You are compounding and making it very worse, giving people reasons why they should continue. Of course, the quest for the disintegration of this country. If Anoku could make such submission, then who else could argue otherwise? He said Nigeria is on the path of disintegration. Nothing can stop it. Since they have rejected these reforms, electoral reforms or restructuring, then the disintegration is inevitable, is a time and a season, is an event whose moment and time has come. It's not about Nnamdi Kanu. An average Igbo man does not believe in one Nigeria, except for the few greedy political elites and their cronies who are reaping off the resources, exploiting the resources of the masses. These are the only one who will tell you that they still believe. But in action, if you believe in a system, in a country, you can't loot the common treasure of the people. You can't siphon. When you're given a contract, awarded a contract to do a job, a road, or build facilities, healthcare systems, you invest the money. Does that tell you you love the country? You are saying you are not an integral part of this. If that means Nigeria collapsing, it doesn't bother you. In as much as you make your own money, you pocket the money and the rest of them, and you are coming to tell us with such bruising impunity that Nnamdi Kanu said the threat to break up Nigeria. Nigeria is already on the path of breaking up. Is it an average Yoruba that believes in one Nigeria? Who else believes in one Nigeria? That's the question, except for the political class, who, because of the oil wells, because of the resources they are controlling, let each regions go their separate way. Let me see who will be interested in the center. Nobody will be interested in the center if the regions control their resources. This is how it was designed, it was meant to be. Even the biggest democracy or economy in the world, the America, that is how they practice it. Each region, of course, has autonomy. They control their resources, they develop at their own pace. They harness their own resources, they better the lot of the people or indigenous or citizens resident within there. Now you will exploit the resources from all the way from the east. You take it to Abuja and be giving peanut to the people. And sadly, that will not go down to the people who own the resources. The few greedy political elites will hijack it and make a case with that. And people will continue to die at the mercy of discontent elements who have no reason, of course, to be in the corridor of power. And you're saying Nnamdi Kanu threat to break up Nigeria is not a mere threat. You have succeeded in breaking up Nigeria, and there is nothing anyone can do about that, whether you like it or not. The actions and the inactions, deliberate intentions not to resolve the nagging issues bordering on the continued existence of Nigeria today have watered down the existence of Nigeria. So it's a matter of time. It's a question of time. When and how is not deniable. It's something that no one can dispute, because you can't sow a seed of melon and harvest granules. It's never done. So whatever you sow, you will reap. So anyone afraid of the disintegration of Nigeria is doing that because of his selfish interest and what is getting momentarily at the federal coffers or whatever happens. Already Nigeria has broke up. When the citizens can no longer guarantee their safety, their life, their freedom and liberty of movement and expression and the rest of them, what else is left about that country? When a country can no longer take responsibility of protecting the lives and properties, people invade communities, kill them, sack them, or reoccupy those communities, and you are telling me that it is still a country where several Nigerians are being held ransom within their own locality, communities being taken over and supervised, run by a foreign government, Islamic State of West African province, under control and charge of several communities across the north, and you're telling me they're destroying, sacking communities, sacking military camps and bases, destroying military facilities and the rest of them, and you're telling me you have a country? Is that a country that one should desire to have? Where even the security operatives are helpless about the situation, accusing the top hierarchy military personnel of divulging information to the terrorists and the rest of them. It is quite very disturbing and unfortunate development. Let's have your own take regarding this. But if, for the sake of the release of Nnamdi Kanu, they want to deceive the gullible masses, Nigeria is already on the path of disintegration, and it is an irreversible reaction. That is just simple but truth.